Hello and welcome to the Mercedes-Benz E350 4Matic. This is the 2014 model that we're driving here today.
And it comes in two separate versions. One is a sport and one is a luxury. The biggest difference between the two is really the emblem in the front. You have the Mercedes logo either in the grille or actually from the hood.
Also, the 4Matic comes with the all-wheel drive, so that's another major difference between both of them. Our tester today is spec'd out with a beautiful polar white on the exterior with the ebony interior. What do you think about the interior of this?
I mean, it's good. I definitely like it. The only thing it reminds me of like the Mercedes-Benz from like 10 years ago.
That's one thing that I can definitely agree with you. It's a beautiful interior. It's wrapped in leather. You have all the materials look beautiful. It's a very nicely, laid out interior, but the design, you're right. It feels like the design that you've been in, the design of Mercedes of the past 10 years. Yeah. Again, it's not anything that's, nothing doesn't look great in it. It's just the fact that it just looks the same as it has in the past, decade?
Yeah, I appreciate they're keeping that same luxury feel with the nice, clock in the middle, keeps that elegant feel all around, but the competitors are just doing it better for this generation.
Yeah.
They have the nice sleek stylings all around in the competitors. This one, it just looks plain and boring.
Yeah, it's their classic Mercedes interior. Again, it's beautiful materials that they use. All the brushed aluminum and all the metal features that they have around. The steering wheel is beautiful. It's nicely laid out. Again, your classic look. It's nicely laid out for someone who is a Mercedes driver or someone that's getting into the luxury market. You'd appreciate the interior, but again, you're right. With everything on the market now having a futuristic look, or the design aspects that they have now, it feels a little bit dated.
Yeah, it feels dated, but at the end of the day, it is their normal everyday sedan. It's not something sporty. It's not something that's gonna be your executive car. It's literally your daily driver, and that's what I feel like Mercedes E-Class does best. It's literally, if you want to, you can daily drive it all you want. And if you really want some performance out of it, you can get it too with the sport model. You can go with the all-wheel drive. It'll give you as much grip as you want on the road. And at the end of the day, you can take it to work. You can take it on long drives, and it's perfectly fine.
And speaking of the long drives, the interior, not just aesthetically and the way that it looks, but comfort-wise, it's very comfortable sitting in here.
It's super comfortable. It's literally goes to where you would want to. Your body sits perfectly on it, and it literally has ample room, but only in the front, I would say.
Exactly. So, I mean, I'm a pretty big guy. I'm not 6 foot or anything, but I like to have my seat back a little bit. So if I do sit comfortably the way that I'd want to, the person in the back seat is not going to be able to sit very comfortably. The rear legroom is about 35 inches, so anyone that's sitting in the back will not get as much, comfort that you would sitting in either the driver's seat or the passenger seat of this vehicle.
And I feel like they tried to give it more room with the extended wheelbase and everything, but it just wasn't there. It still lacks that leg room in the back, that ample luxury that you expect from Mercedes-Benz to be all around.
Talking about the interior, the features that you get in this particular car from Mercedes, it's pretty nice. The fact that you get a lot of new technology features in this particular model.
Even though the technology is there, the problem is that it's not the best system on the market. I feel like Audi definitely does it better. BMW iDrive is probably one of the best systems out there. Mm-hmm. And Mercedes is there's a lot of things that feel a little bit clunky, and they're not as smooth or as exotic as you want it to be in a 2014, interior.
That makes sense. So some of the technology features that you get in this particular E-Class, they are options, but most of them come standard when you pick out the package of vehicle that you get, especially in the E350 4Matic Sport. You get lane assist. So if you're going down a particular road and you go over the lane on either side of the vehicle, your steering wheel will vibrate and say that, hey, you're going over. So if I go over a little bit, it'll give me a vibration notification saying that, hey, get back in your lane. Some of the other additional features that you get are not just functionality as for the driver, but functionality for the car itself to save fuel. There's an eco button that you can start on the car where if you stop at a light, it actually shuts down the engine. It's a pretty cool feature. It shuts down the engine and it saves fuel for you. But if you're somebody that drives a car nitpicky things like that would annoy you, it annoys me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it's literally like, okay, I appreciate they're trying to save fuel, and I don't know how much it really saves turning the engine off every few seconds or whenever you stop at a stoplight. But you know, when let's say you're in an actual bumper to bumper traffic,
yeah,
and it just goes on, off, and it gets really annoying.
Exactly. So in an area where we live, there's traffic all the time. Anytime that you'd be taking this car out to drive, either on weekdays to go to work, come back from work, even in the afternoons and on the weekends, there's traffic everywhere. So in a traffic setting, if the thing is turning on and off all the time, I'm kind of worried, is it gonna mess up the engine? But I mean, I'm sure Mercedes has tested all that, and their engineering has tested all that to say that that's exactly what it's meant to do. But if it's saving fuel, great. If it doesn't annoy you, great. I personally don't like it that much, but you know, that's just me. Also, the features that you get within this model, it's a beautiful panoramic sunroof that you can get with the E-Class, and I feel like if you're purchasing a car in this price range, you can't go wrong with getting that.
The panoramic roof just literally creates that elegant feel when you're sitting in the car that you don't get with the normal sunroof. It literally comes out to where you're like, man, it opens up the car. It opens up the claustrophobic feel that you could feel, you know, just with a normal sunroof. It literally opens up the car, it gives you the full view, and it just makes your whole drive just that much better.
Your headroom actually goes from in the 40s to unlimited. It feels like it's a very open, you don't have that claustrophobic feel, you're right. And when you open up the sunroof, there's just like another feel of luxury that you get in this particular car. You do get a sunshade or a sun visor where it'll cover up any additional sunlight that you don't want. It is a tinted sunroof, but once you open it up, you're able to completely open the first section. The back pane is actually just a standard piece of glass. One
kind of downside to having a full panoramic roof is that in the winter, if you do have your car outside or in a garage that's not totally enclosed and protected from the elements, what you get is a really, really, really cold car, because the roof is literally glass. There's no padding, there's nothing, and the elements just get in, and it's just super cold.
Yeah, so insulation is another factor. When you get the panoramic sunroof, if you're in an area that's consistently cold, maybe not the best idea. If you're in a area that's consistently hot, also something that you want to take into consideration. But again, being a Mercedes, being something of top quality, you think about Mercedes and you automatically assume luxury, class, and I should be paying the premium and getting the premium product, right? So that Mercedes doesn't skim you on that at all. The inside, the interior of the car is very well insulated, both from sound, exterior elements like the weather. If you turn on the AC, you don't feel any of that. If you turn on the heat, you don't feel any of that. And it's all premium products that you're associated with when you purchase a vehicle.
And the best thing about Mercedes is that you get that insulation that I feel like only Mercedes has perfected. You can literally have a super loud exhaust on the outside, and the insulation will literally make it seem like nothing. Exactly. And the thing is, it's not like nothing that you don't hear the exhaust, you don't hear the growling. It's literally that you only hear the good parts. The bad parts of having a super loud exhaust are not even there for you. Another thing is that with the insulation comes, the full ample weight. This car does weigh about 4,000 pounds.
That's a heavy car, especially for a sedan. Most sedans on the market will range a little bit less than that, but for being a 350, an E350 with a 6-cylinder engine, this is not something that's holding a V8 or anything like that. I think one of the comparisons that we were talking about earlier was the fact that, I think you mentioned an Audi.
Yeah, the RS7.
RS7
weighs 4,500 pounds.
And that's
and it has a monster V8.
Yeah, and that vehicle is sitting at around 4,500 pounds. And this being an everyday driver V6, mid-range sedan in its lineup, it's almost the same weight. And that's kind of, if you think about it, it's ridiculous. It's a very heavy car.
But I guess it is there for the luxury and the grip on the road, and it kind of maintains this comfort through the bumps and everything. And the best thing about it is, with Mercedes-Benz, you get the option of improving your comfort and luxury even more with your seating package. So you can go either with the faux leather, which is good. I mean, it's Mercedes-Benz at the end of the day. They're not gonna skim you on anything. But if you really want to feel the soft touches of real leather, that's an option you can easily get.
So this particular tester model is set up and purchased with the faux leather package. Again, Mercedes-Benz gives you the option, unlike many other dealers or many other brands, where the faux leather is the only option that you can get. Mercedes gives you the option to pick whatever leather package. So you get the standard leather package, which again is a faux leather, and then you get the option for the premium real leather package. Again, you know, if you take into consideration the cost associated with the everyday faux leather that you get on the standard models versus the real leather, there are a few items that you have to take into consideration, thinking that, you know, if it is real leather, the caretaking of that leather is a little bit more expensive when you go to, you know, maybe detail the car, when you go to, you know, maintain the car, the interior especially. There's different care aspects that you need to take into consideration when you buy that package.
The exterior is beautiful. It has lines that make the car seem so much more elegant than, you know, you would see at the first take.
When you see this car coming down the road, you're right, it's a beautiful looking car. Aesthetically, from the front, when you look at it from any angle, this is a beautiful looking car. What Mercedes has done for this particular model year, the front fascia has been sculpted in a very particular manner. So when you see it coming at you from any, you know, any angle on the road, you know exactly what car that is. Especially with the lighting package. Now, you're able to select a particular lighting package on the E-Class. You have a standard lighting package where you have LED lighting. Again, you know, ample visibility. But you're able to also step it up a notch and get the new lighting package, which gives you a very distinct, you know, double-lined LED strip that shows up. And it makes the car look not only aggressive, but just add to the curves of every single, you know, line on this car.
The LED package that you get is pretty much the best of the best. You can't argue with the amount of perfection it gives to the car, where those lines from the LEDs swoop right into the body.
The body lines, yeah, it's a very beautiful sculpted look that they have on the front. The rear is also a very distinct look in a market where, you know, where most of the four-door sedans have a generic, you know, similar look to them. Mercedes kind of stands out a little bit with the shape that they have for their front, rear, and just overall, you know, design of the car. One of the things that you get if you choose to get the sport model, you get AMG sport wheels. Now, they're not the actual AMG wheels, they're just the sport version of the wheels. You get a body kit that's associated with the front fascia. With the rear, you get a deck lid spoiler, and you have the optional hood spoiler or the roof spoiler for the rear that you can get as well.
The sport package literally gives you the feel of you being in an AMG car, but actually without the, you know, the expense that comes with it.
Along with the stylings of the AMG, you actually get a very distinct driver feel for this particular car. Now, again, it's not an AMG, but you still get a very bulky steering wheel. So it's the 10s and 2 feel of the steering wheel. It's a very thick bolstered steering wheel. The seats also, if you put the vehicle in the sport mode, the suspension is a little bit tighter. The gas or the power response that you get on your right foot is also very responsive. That brings us to the actual engine aspect of this particular vehicle. Now, this is a V6.
You have 302 horsepower and about 268 foot-pounds of torque, and that gives you ample amount of power on the highway for passing anybody you need to, but it just lacks that oomph that you would expect from Mercedes-Benz. You know, the torque that Mercedes-Benz always gives its cars is kind of lacking a little bit on this.
Yeah, you put the foot down, you feel it, but again, it's not something that's super exciting. But again, from an everyday driver or something that you want to go and, you know, grocery get or take to the office, whatever you need to do, this has plenty of power to do that. It's not something that's just crazy over the top.
The other competitors that we kind of place this car with is you have the Audi A6, you have the Cadillac CTS, which are all beautiful cars, amazing cars, but they all have their distinct features. With the competitors, you get different options, you get better interiors most places, and you get a different feel. Especially when you look at the infotainment system, Cadillac is offering a big screen, Audi is offering a big screen, Lexus is offering a big screen, BMW is offering a big screen, and all you have is a little small 7-inch screen in the Mercedes.
That's one thing that really bothers me. The fact that you're paying the premium for a vehicle like this, and the infotainment system where everything else on the market has these huge, beautiful displays, And Mercedes only gives you the option for this measly little display. Now, it has all the features and functionality that you can ask from it. And the fact that the size of the screen is a little bit small, it annoys me a little bit. Most of the cars or the vehicles that are in this segment have the shifter knob right here on the center console. One of the biggest gripes that I have with this particular model, and Mercedes in general for most of their models that aren't AMG, is the fact that your shifter knob is right here on the steering wheel. I don't know, maybe it's just a traditional thing for me, but when I'm driving a car, I want to be able to have my grip on the steering wheel and on the shifter knob, or even not, not even while driving, but maybe when you're changing gears. Your traditional thing is here on the right, on the center console. When you have it here on the actual steering column, it's weird for me. It feels uncomfortable. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but that's a huge... That would deter me from buying this car. That's the only...
I totally agree with you. I definitely hate this, steering wheel column shifter that we have, but it reminds me of that I'm driving an old school Cadillac, with a family down to the lake house or something.
It's your traditional shifter knob that you'd have in an old minivan.
Yeah.
Even the minivans don't even have those anymore. So I don't know. Maybe Mercedes, you guys need to take that into consideration. But
and like you mentioned, you're used to feeling, the shifter in your right hand, your steering wheel in the left. And sometimes I catch myself just putting a water bottle there just so I can get the same feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. I know a lot of the cars in the industry or at least a lot of the brands in the industry are moving towards something that's a little bit different, to place them a little bit different than everybody else. But the fact that most of those brands are also putting the dials that you can, select the shifter knobs from, but they're still in the general area of the center console.
Yeah.
In this particular car, and again, all Mercedes, they have it here on the steering column. That's just something that I don't like, me personally. It sounds like it's a pretty common trend, but what are you gonna do? It's still an awesome car to have. The storage space in this particular car is also really, really nicely set up. You have ample space for all the storage that you need, cup holders everywhere. If you're looking for a vehicle that you can have as a daily driver with family, this is also a really nicely set up car. Again, ample amount of storage. If you have kids, it's perfect for taking them anywhere that you need.
So the competitors in this segment are pretty much the BMW 5 Series, the Cadillac CTS, the Audi A6, and Lexus GS. All these guys have perfected certain place or another, and I feel like the Mercedes doesn't have one thing perfected, but it does really well in everything. The only thing is that if you're trying to get the best value for your money, you have the CTS, which all around comes out to being cheaper than this with pretty much all the same options. And then if you want to go more sporty and get more performance out of it, you go BMW, which will be at the top of your range for this competitor segment. And you'll get the feel you want, the fluid stuff that you want, and pretty much the new technology you want from all four of these cars. So in the end, everybody goes their own way, and it just seems that for the top and bottom of the segment, Mercedes just falls somewhere in the middle. There's no distinction.
Yeah, and I would agree. So if you're on the market, if you're someone that's looking for a sedan, a luxury sedan, a sports luxury sedan, you have your extreme of, again, BMW being more of an enthusiast-based or more of a driver's-based car. And then you have your CTS, which is more of your practical car, something that's maybe a little bit more affordable on the price range. And the fact that you got a lot of the new features. Mercedes, you're right. It just kind of falls there right in the middle. It's the brand that you have associated with the car that you're purchasing. You're buying a Mercedes-Benz. Now, not only are you just buying a Mercedes-Benz, you do get the aspects of, top quality. You get the luxury feel. You get everything that's, summarized and combined in between. You're buying a Mercedes-Benz. So it's a very nice car. It's again, falls in the middle of the segment there. For the price, I would recommend this car. This is a beautiful car, both looks-wise, both driving dynamics-wise, feel-wise, quality-wise. It's an awesome car to have. I give it a green light. This is a really nice car to have.
It's definitely a buy. The only thing I would say is, the Mercedes logo or the motto, it goes the best or nothing.
Yeah.
I feel like they kind of fell short on this one. It's not the best and it's not nothing. It's somewhere in the middle. For what you're paying for and what you're getting is definitely a good buy.
I like it.
I would do it. I would definitely own this car. So overall, the E350 is a great car. Probably not the best in the segment. It has competitors both on the higher end and the lower end, but you know, it has perfection in each category, I feel like. So in the end, what do you think of the interior?
From the interior, I think I'd probably give the interior 3 donuts.
3 donuts.
Out of 4. 3 donuts out of 4 being, it's again, they use high grade material. The layout is beautiful, but the only reason I'm not giving it a 4 donut rating is the fact that the interior may be a little bit dated. Dated in the sense of, you know, it's an interior that we've seen in the past generations. It's nothing that's crazy, you know, futuristic looking like most of the things that are on the market right now. So that being it wouldn't get a perfect 4, but it is, again, you know, top quality, nice materials. And a very nice, comfortable cabin, so I'd give it a 3 donut rating.
I agree, 3 with me as well. And on the exterior, I would give it 3.5. It's not perfect, it's not the best exterior out there, but it's damn close. What do you think?
Yeah, you know what? I would actually probably give it a 4. The front look of that car, again, I mentioned it before. When you see that thing rolling up, you know, from the opposite side of the road or parked anywhere, when it's on, the front lights, that's a beautiful looking car. The lines, the sculpture of that, you know, that front end, it's a very nice looking car.
How the LEDs just perfectly flow into the body.
And you'd, again, like our tested model, you'd have to get the light package to get that look, but if you get that light package and you get it spec'd out with the features, at least from the exterior features, you won't go wrong. For me, it's a 4 donut rating.
For the performance side of it, it definitely has the potential, but it just doesn't have that Mercedes oomph that you're looking for, you know? It doesn't have that kick that you always want. But other than that, the exhaust note, the actual performance on the highway is beautiful. So I would give it a 3.5 again.
I would have to agree with you. It's a 3.5. It's, from a driver dynamic perspective, it's a very comfortable driving car. For the amount of power that you get in that engine output, it's ample amount of power. It's something that you can drive on a daily basis. It's comfortable. Again, going back to the cabin as well, when you drive it from the interior, it's a very comfortable drive. I'd give it a 3.5.
And for the wow factor, I would say it's like a 2.5, almost 3, because yes, it looks beautiful and it has what it needs to, you know, when you're on facing it in traffic, you just see it like, man, this is a nice car. But it just doesn't have that, wow, man, this looks so good that it turns your head.
For the wow factor, I would give it a 3 out of 4. Again, the styling of the front, it's beautiful, but when you compare with other cars on the market, and
especially the competitors.
Yeah, the competitors on the market, the features that they have, exterior, the lighting packages and everything that they have, even though this one is beautiful, it might not be on the top tier. So it's very nice. I'd give it a 3.
Yeah, overall, I feel like it comes out to probably a 3 out of the 4 donuts that we always give.
For the overall car.
Yeah. So I think it's time for some donuts. See you guys next time.
See ya.